Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's Superman!
Faster than writing to a letter forum, more thoughtful than angry clickbait, able to discuss the world's first superhero and his cousin in comics, film, TV, and more. It's the Supermaniacs, and I'm Fatheree. This is Mike. Mike, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm doing Supergirlish. This movie was weird.
Yeah, so Mike and I got together today to talk about the 1984 Supergirl movie starring Helen Slater before the new one comes out, and then we just spent about 40 or 50 minutes talking about it before we realized that the stream did not launch live like it was supposed to.
You guys missed some gold. Some genuine reactions that we had. That was hilarious. But it does let me bring up. You'll believe that a writer doesn't know how to write a woman. Is really what the tagline of this movie should have been.
That was something that I wanted to work in to some of the things we were discussing, though. Is that there's so many moments in this movie. It does feel like men not knowing how to write women, which it would. You also mentioned that you showed this movie to your girlfriend who had a lot of colorful comments, it sounded like.
Yes, I actually forgot about a sequence that I forgot to mention that I remembered was one of the dumbest things that happens in this movie. So I will get to that sequence in a second as well.
So, well, I'm glad that we're going to rediscuss some of this, because now we can do it the right way.
I'm a little more awake from it, because now that I've gotten some of the stupidity out of my brain, so some of it's coming back to me, unfortunately, like a Vietnam flashback.
But I'm having a fun time discussing this movie because it was something that I watched a lot as a kid and really liked it. I thought Helen Slater was really cute, and I still think she's a good Supergirl in this. But it is a batshit insane movie that I really get to talk to people about because no one else wants to watch it. So this is fun for me too.
Yeah, I watched it a lot as a kid too, but mostly because I was a superhero fan. But even as a kid, I remember not liking the film all that much. And watching it now, I hate it more than I ever thought possible. But and it's because I thought Superman 3 was the worst of the Superman type movies, but I was wrong. I was so very wrong. Because even Richard Pryor was more entertaining overall than what we've seen in this film. Faye Dunaway has nothing on Richard Pryor, is all I'm saying. But what happens, we did discuss this, we did mention some stuff that did catch us off guard. For instance, Father, you were mentioning that the music for this was the man who did Star Trek The Next Generation.
Yeah, well, he did a lot of Star Trek work, but Jerry Goldsmith, who was also going to be Richard Donner's top pick to score Superman instead of John Williams. So, you only briefly hear the John Williams Superman theme in this movie. So I often wonder, like, oh yeah, some of this other stuff, like, it sounds like Jerry Goldsmith could have used it for a Star Trek TV show, or like, I don't know, maybe this is what his Superman score would have been kind of like. I'm glad they went with Williams instead of Goldsmith, but
I really am too, because when I watched it, I was like, this song is really getting on my fucking nerves, and because this man is, when you look up Jerry Goldsmith, because the thing is, Jerry Goldsmith is a very, very important name in general, because when you look up, he did Gremlins, he did Total Recall, did Basic Instinct,
Planet
Logan's
of the
Run,
Apes,
Patton, Alien. Like, this man has done some of the most important movies of all time, and then he did Supergirl.
Some of the most unimportant movies also. So, a wide range. Also,
and then the writer wrote helped write the Dark Crystal as well as the Muppet movie. It worked. They were nominated for an Emmy for the Muppet Show, actually. But they also wrote Masters of the Universe, which is the take that with what you will. And then the director of this made one other movie that was very famous, at least in the U.S., starring another Superman alumni, Superman himself, Christopher Reeve, what was One Moment in Time? Was that the name of it? I'm trying to remember the name. I literally already forgot what it was.
Somewhere in Time, yeah.
Somewhere in Time,
so
which is the movie where he goes back in time or whatever.
Yes. So you got to think this artsy French director worked with Christopher Reeve before, was probably excited to like, oh, I'm gonna have Chris come cameo in the Supergirl movie, but that does not happen. There is no Christopher Reeve to be seen.
Chris Reeve was like, I don't want to do that.
We see a picture of him. There's a picture.
A lot of people
Superman.
don't know is that he didn't want to make Superman movies for anymore at this point. Superman 4 hadn't been made yet at this point either. He didn't want to after Superman 3. He didn't want to do any more Superman movies. So that's why they made Supergirl. And so they boy howdy, I'm trying to think of ways of saying this. So Supergirl was made. It was made. It's really the best way I can put it. So because we're gonna start with this movie. So it starts. Actually, let me preface this. We watched what's on HBO Max because I didn't have time to get a copy of the director's cut. There are 3 versions of this film. One is the theatrical cut, which was on a lot of VHSs, which was 105 minutes. So it's a much shorter film. It's also incomprehensible to the point where people hate it even more so. We watched what's considered the international cut. It's about 2 hours long, 2 hours and 4 minutes, 124 minutes total. And then the director's cut is 138. 14 minutes long. And apparently makes the story make a little bit more sense. You can only put so much more story into 14 minutes. And it only exists on DVD. There's no high definition version. Same with the fact there's no 4K version of the so luckily the international cut is now the current cut of the movie that you can find. Anyway, apparently the Japanese cut, I don't have any interest. So boy howdy. This movie starring Helen Slater starts in Argo City, not in space, in inner space, which is underwater. This movie doesn't make any sense, is what I'm saying off the bat. She shows up. Argo City is a city that's like full of Kryptonians. They don't say anything about them surviving. They mention they survived tons of explosions, but that's kind of it. And they mentioned that a car walks through this area, interrupts like a small school of students, and just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just getting by." And she runs into the founder of Argo City, Zaltar, played by Peter Cook. I almost said Peter O'Toole. Peter Cook. No, it is Peter O'Toole. So I don't know. Sorry, Peter O'Toole, who is going on this long rant about making a tree using what I could only describe looks like a sex toy, because it's like a little plastic drill thing that just buzzes and buzzes, and it's just, and he makes this thing, and she's like, "What is that?" It's a tree. Everyone on Earth loves trees. It's gonna be the way of the future, I guess. But he's upset. It's not a real tree. They're probably never going to be a real tree. He's talking about how much he likes Earth, and mentions that the Omega Hedron can make the illusions of life. Like, so it doesn't really make life; it just makes like an illusion of life. So that's why he's but he brings up the Megahedron. It's a power source that helps power the city. There's 2 power sources. They never say what the other power source is, by the way, do they?
No, I forgot that someone mentions that there's 2. So I guess that's something that might be in the director's cut.
No, they mentioned, yeah. Maybe they show what the other one is.
Like, yeah, the explanation.
So he has this thing, and she's like, "Well, you stole that." He's like, "Well, no, I borrowed it. I founded the city. Fuck them," type of thing. He's like, "It's mine. I don't fucking care." And so Alora shows up, played by you mentioned it's Mia Farrow. Which
Mia Farrow. So it's an interesting Rosemary's Baby connection, though, because there's also like some culty kind of like 80s satanic panic vibes that pop up in this movie.
And Simon Ward plays Zor-El randomly, and so what happens is they're like talking about Zor-El and how awesome it was that Zaltar created Argo City, how much they love everything, and he's just like, well, I want to like she's like, yeah, Zor-El says you're thinking of taking a trip. She's like, yeah, I want to go to Venus or some shit. I don't want to be here anymore. Is basically what he says.
There's Saturn, and they talk about Saturn.
And so as he's having this discussion, he decides not so much hide the megahedron, but give it to Kara, since he gives her the magic sex toy wand, so she can make a dragonfly, and then she uses the megahedron to bring it to life or something. When she does, though, it shatters the thin protective layer of Argo City, and I do mean it's like cellophane or something. It flies straight through it, causing this sort of suction, like as if they were in space itself, and it launches the megahedron outside of Argo City, as well as almost throws Kara outside. So Zoltar fuses it back together with the magic wand thing, and he's like, well, I need to go out and find it inside of the thing. I forgot what he called it already. What was it called? To get through the veil or something. What is it called? It's some sort of ship. I forgot what it was.
The Traveler.
The traveling ship thing. And he's like, we're going to... Oh, that's right. They're in it's a pocket of transdimensional space. So they need this thing to break through the barrier of the transdimensional space. And I forgot to mention before that point, they were like, by the way, my cousin's on Earth. They keep talking about the fact that Superman's on Earth.
Somehow they know Earth's, like they've, or at least Zoltar, he's seen a tree, he's seen a horse.
And apparently he told Kara that Superman exists.
Yeah, your cousin grew up on a place called Earth and became a hero called Superman.
And this is the movie's way of looking you in the eye and going, by the way, she's related to Superman. Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool that they're related. So the megahedron flies out of interdimensional space somehow, without the use of a ship, and lands in the hands of Faye Dunaway and her old man witch friend, Nigel,
yes,
who are having a picnic, talking about black magic and taking over the world.
Yeah, that she's two old posh white people having a picnic and discussing how they're going to use witchcraft to conquer the world.
And she's talking about how she's very impatient to set up that she's kind of she likes shortcuts basically. She's like, I want to save the world now, that's the type of thing. And so she finds this thing immediately. Doesn't let Nigel even look at it. She's just immediately like, I don't need your old ass anymore. I have this thing, without knowing what it is. She just goes, I have this thing now. As she enters the car to leave, you hear a news report that goes, by the way, the viewer, Superman's going to go on a galactic peace mission 100 trillion light years away. So don't even worry about him. He's not going to be anywhere in this world. He's going to be in Superman Returns in like 30 years from now.
That's what we were saying, is that this almost does kind of set up Superman's absence for Superman Returns. Like Bryan Singer was ignoring Superman's 3 and 4 maybe, but he didn't ignore Supergirl.
It turns out the sequel, Superman Returns, would have been a Supergirl sequel.
Yeah, it would have been Supergirl Returns.
That would have been fucking hilarious. Actually, he could have, too, based on how this movie ends. And so what happens is that she finds this thing, she fucks off, tells Nigel to go fuck himself. She's like, now I'm the black magic user or whatever. And she drives off. And it cuts to Supergirl in this, it looks kind of like an egg. It's like an egg that she's flying through. Before she got in, there's these like sort of blanket type things that are in there.
Primary colors.
My assumption is it somehow morphed into the suit. There's no explanation for it. This is my headcanon for what it is. It morphs into the suit around her as she's seeing this. As you mentioned before, when we first started, this Superman the movie type sequence from the opening where it has all the explosions and the Willy Wonka nightmare sequence things going on. And she's just sort of, she's like reacting. She's like, oh, geez, oh, no. And eventually she's just staring at it. She just stares off because at this point, I guess she's determined. Apparently, the dimensional rift between an interdimensional pocket is a lake in the middle of Midville.
I guess that's like the inner space. Like outer space, they come from up in the sky. And inner space, they come from within the planets somehow.
I'm just lucky she wasn't fucking a part of Aquaman's guild or whatever. And so she literally flies out of the water. Although it's an old 1980s effect where instead of making her fly out of the water, it's a piece of wood that they painted with Supergirl on the front that they pull out real fast just before they cut to her flying out. She lands. She's super excited. She's like, oh my God. She's like looking around because she's lived her whole life in Argo City. She finds a rock, immediately just crushes it with her hands because she's like, "Oh my god, I have super strength." Grabs a flower, makes it grow with heat vision. I don't know how that worked, but she does. Snips it really hard, and then flies around for 30 minutes. I mentioned this before. The theatrical cut cuts a lot of her flying around because it's just her. It's basically her navigating the world and realizing that she can fly, and she's just so excited to see another planet.
She was inspiring Zack Snyder's sequence in Man of Steel when Henry Cavill starts flying around for the first time.
It kind of does. That sequence is very similar to this. And so her outfit looks great, by the way. Her outfit is actually not that much different from what Woman of Tomorrow's outfit is, actually.
Yeah. They had like the good look for Supergirl from the comics, and then they also, I guess, like they kept Argo City and Midvale. Other than that, all this other stuff they kind of make up on their own. But
yeah, the one thing it has that the newer suit doesn't have is that the S's, of course, are or more normal, if that makes sense. It's not the newer Alex Ross S. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is I found out that through some digging that there was originally a camera test to make her look more like she did before she died, which is when she had the red headband. Mm-hmm. In fact, it shows up on Wikipedia.
Yeah, the pre-crisis Supergirl.
There's a picture of her in her pre-crisis outfit. But they decided we're going to go with a more like, I think honestly this suit might have been a little more because of them type of thing. But what happens is that she goes on this flying thing. She then runs into what I can only describe as truck rapists.
Yeah, the truck driver molesters of Midvale, Illinois. So they gave it a state, by the way. You know, Smallville was never in Kansas until the first Donner movie.
Yes.
So have the comics ever followed through on that Midvale is in Illinois?
I don't know. I'd have to double check on that. I'll have to triple check that because I don't know enough about Midvale itself. Because we know that Metropolis eventually was considered in Delaware, so that means that Smallville's in Kansas, Midvale is apparently the midpoint, and then it's literally from there, which is kind of hilarious to me. And so she meets these two truckers, Eddie, and what was the other guy's name?
Billy Boy.
Billy Boy. The guy who plays Eddie is actually, you will recognize him if you ever watched Eureka, as well as the second Lawnmower Man movie.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
He's the main character of the second Lawnmower Man.
Damn.
He's in a lot of stuff. Like you, if you see him, you'd recognize him immediately, type of thing. He's one of those types of like character actors. Mm-hmm. And she beats them up after she's like, "I'm Superman's cousin." They're like, "Neat. I've always wanted a fucking alien." Basically, their thought process.
Yeah.
And she beats the shit out of them, of course. And they're just like, "Oh, let's not tell anybody this happened," as you should not tell anybody that happened, unless it's the police. And then she decides to sleep in the woods because reasons.
Well, what else are you gonna do when you show up on an alien planet and you're just learning your way around it?
Accosted by trucksters.
But if you're invulnerable, you're brave enough to go just sleep in the woods, I guess.
And then while this is happening, Faye Dunaway is having what I can only describe as a secret witch orgy party.
Yeah, well, we just see the dinner party part before the orgy begins. But yeah, a lot of the white people who want to learn witchcraft, so I don't know, they can help their stock portfolios perform better. But
I do realize I skipped over the part where we meet Bianca, which is Faye Dunaway's, Selena's random best friend, who's also, I think, a witch. I don't really know. She doesn't do anything witch-like, but she's kind of just there.
She's there to be the villain's dumb sidekick who says dumb stuff.
They live in a Joker hideout.
Yeah, the abandoned amusement park. Or, I don't know, is it abandoned? Did they just buy a functional amusement park and take it over?
It says for sale everywhere.
Yeah.
So I think they bought part of it because they live in the haunted mansion side of it.
Yeah, they live in the witchcraft-looking part of it.
And Bianca's talking about how, we have all these bills, we have to pay for the electricity and all these amusement park rides that we keep using for some reason. And she's like, well, we don't have to worry about any of that because I have this thingy, because it turns out she's bad. Turns out it's powerful, but she doesn't know how to use it per se. she's a witch, but she's bad at it because it turns out Nigel mentions to her, "Hey, you don't really know what you're doing with that," and he shows her like a mysterious force through the reflection in a cigarette case. It's like a demon or something, is what it looks like. And she panics, of course, and tells him to go fuck himself. And he's like, "Fine, fuck you. I'll take my old white people witch magic and talk to this lady."
But he's the more at this point he's like the more knowledgeable one about the magic, and she kind of sees the Omega Hedron as her ability to I can just ditch Nigel and have my own power.
Yeah, it's like her ultimate cheat code is what she looks at it as.
Right, yeah.
He tries to sleep with some other random white lady at this orgy, and she's like, "I want none of that," and she like spins her around and like tortures her with like scorpions or some shit. And Nigel's like, "Fuck you, lady," and he walks off, and the lady's fine because it's a movie where they don't want people to die in. And so she's all upset about this. We then cut back to Kara, who's asleep in the woods and is woken up by a rabbit, as well as a
softball game.
A softball game.
She's woken up by a softball game. Yeah,
it's happening a little bit because a baseball or a softball shows up in front of her, and she hides real quick, and out pops a woman named Lucy, who we'll get to in a bit. Who they're like, "Oh, let's keep playing," and so she observes this gaggle of schoolgirls. We don't. I'm gonna say I don't know how old they're supposed to be. It doesn't really tell you.
We hope college. We hope this is college and not high school.
And for reasons that I'll bring up later. So as this is happening, she decides in her infinite wisdom that she's going to now masquerade as one of these people. So she walks through a tree. She walks past some trees, which then morph her outfit into a schoolgirl outfit and give her a brunette wig and a backpack. She magically does this. Don't ask me how. Inner space stuff.
But it's the same. It's the same logic as the Superman powers that the movies invented for Christopher Reeve. Is how
I'm pulling
that
up until the backpack. The backpack is where I draw the line on that. And so she, while this is going on, during the game, you catch a glimpse of somebody who'll become more important later.
Oh yeah, the groundkeeper hunk who throws the softball back.
Yeah, groundskeeper Willie. And so what happens is that she breaks into this school, basically. She just walks in. I make it sound like she like violently breaks in. No, she just walks in, runs into a man named Mr. Danvers. This and before you say Linda Danvers is in fact her secret identity, but I think in comics she had become Linda Danvers by this point, but they decided to not immediately make her Linda Danvers. This was more of a reference to the fact that there's a Danvers. He's all bitchy because she didn't knock on the door right away. She's like, "Manners, you guys don't have manners or whatever. Who teaches you things at the school?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he's like, "Who are you anyways?" He's like, "Oh, I'm She looks around. She tries to do the fucking usual suspect shit, and finds a poster of the great. God, I feel sick even saying that as a joke. She sees the Civil War hero Robert E. Lee on the wall and goes, "My name's Lee. Linda Lee."
Yeah. So if she had looked over like a picture of Hitler, she would have been like, "My name is Linda Hitler."
She definitely would have done that. She doesn't know the basis.
Yeah, she does. I mean, to be fair, she doesn't know. Just like, oh, this guy, he must have been cool, General Lee. Okay,
yeah,
I'll just pick that name.
That's her name. Like we know that, but what a weird way of doing that is all I'm saying.
Yes.
Not like she named herself after the car from the Dukes.
Why is there even a picture of Robert E. Lee at their school?
Apparently, Medville loves the Civil War.
Like.
And they were huge fans of the Confederates specifically.
They're in Illinois, though. They're not even like in the South. It doesn't make. I'm saying like if it was in the South, it would still be messed up. But like probably like, a lot of like colleges in the 1980s would have like a picture of General Lee. But I wouldn't think one in Illinois.
Mr. Danvers was a huge fan of the Confederates. That man goes to reenactments all the time. That's what he loves. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to be at that school. He wants to be a Confederate in a Civil War reenactment.
I mean,
that's his life.
One of his employees who teaches at the school is also apparently a witch in his downtimes.
His math teacher employee is a witch who goes to orgies and wears. I'm gonna explain later about the leather suit part, but wears leather suits.
Well, only on his days off, only when he gets a break from teaching the brats.
Sounds worse after I said he attends orgies and does black magic. And so he barges in because Mr. Manders asks her for a letter of recommendation. She's like, well, I don't have one. And he's like, well, you need something. And so she's because at one point she's like, well, I'm an orphan. He's like, why do you fucking die? Like, she's not gonna let you into the school randomly because you're an orphan.
She's like, my parents are dead. And he's like, well, who gives a shit? You don't get any extra points for dead parents around here, Missy.
He's like, your math teacher had dead parents. You don't see him bitching about it. And so yeah, she walks. She then somehow confirms she knows who the fuck Clark Kent is, and writes a fake letter of recommendation from Clark that basically just goes, hey, it's me, Clark Kent. You might know me from such things as the Daily Planet. And I think my cousin is super cool, even though she's an orphan, but she's also my cousin, which just makes very little sense to me. And so, and just basically it's just a recommendation for her to live there and to be in school. So they're just like, okay, cool, you're now part of the school. He takes her to the dorm. This is the reason why this is part of why this has to be a college or else this is creepy. Because this headmaster walks into this dorm full of half-naked schoolgirls, and it only makes sense if this is like a college of some kind, because this makes it creepier. But she walks in, she finds she's now living with who other than Lucy Lane, the sister of Lois Lane, who they like talking about the fact that they're both related to two more famous people, and won't stop talking about it for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, they're going to mention Lois and Clark. You're not going to see them. There's not going to be a cameo because those actors had more important things to do.
But think about how awesome they were, is basically what the movie does. And Mr. Danvers is shown to be kind of an idiot because he's like, because he accidentally fuses their names together, and he's just like, oh, you know each other. Like, no, you're just an idiot. And he's like, okay, and he just fucks off. And you never see him again. You literally never see Mr. Danvers again.
They kind of riff on the recurring Superman thing of, like, the LL initials, of when he gets Lucy Lane and Linda Lee confused and says Linda Lane and
Lucy Lee.
Lucy Lee, yeah.
And so it is a very funny sequence. And then there's a moment where she sees, they talk about it for a bit, and then and the fact that she's like, I'm an orphan, I don't have anything, I don't have things, you know, I have money, but I don't have things. And Lucy's just like, I'm not fucking interrogating you. It's fine.
Yeah, she's like, where's the rest of your things? Like, I don't have things.
I don't have things. I'm an orphan. I told you I'm an orphan, right? No, nobody cares, Linda. Just calm down. And so she sees a poster of Superman on the wall, and it plays the Superman theme for like a quick second, just to be like, look, it's Superman. And it's clearly one of the promotional images that you've seen. You can find it online pretty easily, actually, because it's one of those images from when he's standing in front of that body of water. It's a very famous set of photos that people post all the time. But it's him like kind of pointing at the sky or something. And she's like, and Lucy's like, yeah, I think my sister's fucking that guy. I could probably get you to meet him someday or something. And she's like, that would be great. I would love to meet Superman. I had no reason at all because we're not cousins. It's like okay. And
we should also mention that in that Lucy introduction scene, she is reading a comic, but it is clearly a Marvel comic because the Hulk is visible on the page.
Yeah,
she's holding up.
He's bright green. It's hard to miss him. You think
like,
she would be reading like Batman or something?
Yeah, like why the fuck not like give your DC character a DC like even if you just
I wonder
do
if
like
there's a special thanks to Marvel somewhere in the credits.
Oh, maybe.
But like, it's funny that's the thing they chose, yeah.
Yeah, like just do like the Black Adam thing and just like show just like whatever like the most recent comic books are. Like they did like at the Black Adam movie. It was like, oh, I just happen to have like, all of these like New 52 and Rebirth era comic book posters and stuff in my room.
Yeah, it's really funny. Lucy does mention Jimmy, by the way. She's like, oh, I also know Jimmy, kind of thing. And
because that actor we could get in the movie.
Yeah, and so we see their day basically. She goes to they play lacrosse or something or cricket.
It's lacrosse. I'm pretty
either way,
sure.
It's got a hard ball in it. And
it's murder lacrosse. You have bully girls trying to kill Lucy.
There's two bully girls. One of them is like it's the classic chunky skinny bully duo.
Yeah, a banana and an orange. Yeah.
Yeah, and they for some reason they really want to murder the shit out of Lucy Lane. They're talking about taking her out permanently, is what they said. And so they try to kill Lucy with this thing by throwing it as hard as they can at her. Linda hears this. And the reason he's the same thing Linda is because she's in her secret identity. Runs between it and it shatters on her on impact. Meaning they threw that motherfucker hard. Because if they were just like, it would have just kind of bounced off of her. No, that thing explodes like if it was shot out of a cannon. And they're just like, oh, what happened? They're like, I don't know, who knows? And then they go to the showers. This is the other reason why it would be weird, because we're watching these people shower, and she overhears them talking about turning off the cold water to scold, to like give these people 3rd-degree burns. Like they're going to need to do skin and all, or that's the only thing they're going to need. But fuck those people. And so she fucking like she heat visions them, and she breaks the water mains, I guess, on them instead. So I'm assuming they're burned instead? Question mark? Or they're just wet? I don't know. They run off being all like, "Don't look at me, I'm," and they run off. That's the last you see of these motherfuckers. And so the day ends, and she goes out, and Lucy's like, "Hey, we're gonna go do this stuff. Did you want to go hang out?" And it turns out, that Nigel is in fact their math teacher, because I forgot to mention she solves this random equation that's like stupidly hard, and he's like surprised by it. She's like, "Yeah, I was bad at six-dimensional math, but I'm great at it now all of a sudden," or just good at math now, Earth math, I guess. And so, but the thing that made me laugh is the fact that is afterwards. This is the thing that made me laugh, is that Lucy is having this discussion with Linda actually, about, hey, we're all gonna hang out. Me and Jimmy we're all gonna go hang out in Midvale. Did you want to hang out? She's like, "I'm an orphan. I don't do things." As she's having this discussion, she's randomly putting a bra over her schoolgoer uniform. Randomly, like Linda's just.
She only knows how to make earth garments appear on her magically, but she doesn't know how to apply them herself, I guess. She's still figuring that out.
Like, she just puts it over it and then starts stuffing the bra.
It's very...
and even Lucy's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
It's very, fish out of water, like this alien trying to figure out how to live on Earth. But this movie came out the same year as Splash. I was curious which one came out first. They were both 1984, but it's very...
hilarious.
This is just kind of like a stupider version of Splash in some moments.
Yeah, so Lucy's like, "I guess we'll go do that stuff." She's like, "I'm going to study because I'm an orphan or something." And she's like, "Okay, I guess, sure. You and your weird putting your bra on random things, sure." And so it cuts to Selena and Bianca. Bianca's driving Selena around in her car, and they happen to see Hunky McHunkster, groundskeeper Willie.
Yeah, dude from the softball game. Yeah.
He is sawing a tree, but he doesn't. But he removes a branch that he's not sawing, and then he starts painting the tree. I don't know what he's up to, is all I'm saying.
That's just how he advertises his services. He just goes outside and just starts doing weird shit in the yard.
Yeah, sure. With his ass out.
To thirst trap and advertise.
You could find. I did Google this man. I mentioned this when we were earlier, but since we didn't hear it. So this man is actually more famous than I thought he was for a couple of reasons. One, it turns out he's in Die Hard. He is Ellison in Die Hard. He's the coked out coworker of McClane's wife that's at the party, who gets himself killed by MacGruber, not MacGruber, but by Gruber. MacGruber is an SNL skit. By Gruber because he tries to to sell out John, but without fully selling him out. And he's in Batman Mask of the Phantasm as Arthur, which is the politician guy who keeps trying to get Batman arrested for the entire movie. And then it turns out, in a twist that him and Joker used to know each other, type of thing.
He's also trying to take Batman's ex-girlfriend, so he's kind of like is in kind of like an antagonistic role there.
Well, it turns out if he just worked on trees without a shirt, he might have had a chance.
Yeah.
So what happens is that while this is happening, she has the Omega head drawn out, and since Kara's outside too, because Kara's kind of nearby, she's doing this tarot card thing. She's like, okay, love or death, because she's trying to figure out how to take over the world. She's like, okay, apparently love is more of what I should do instead of threatening people. It's like, if people love me, they'll do anything they want for me. While this is happening, Kara's Kara has this bracelet that Zoltar gave her before she left, that with this little crystal in the center of it, and it seems to light up whenever the Omega Hedron is nearby, basically to tell her where it is. And it starts lighting up as Bianca's eye fucking this guy, and so in Selena's infinite wisdom, she's like, I must have this man because the Omega Hedron has declared that I need to fuck this guy, and so. And Bianca's upset about it, but she's like, fine, whatever. And
yeah, Bianca's upset because she was like, oh, I had my eyes on him first.
Yeah, she's like, I called dibs. She's like, no, there's no dibs with the Omega Hedron. The Omega Hedron has spoken, is basically what she's saying. And she's like, fine, whatever, fuck, I don't give a shit. And so she calls up this dude to come to her house. I'm using quoted finger because it's an amusement park,
right?
Haunted mansion ride, to talk about lawns. And so he's on his way, and she starts making a love potion that's supposed to be whoever he first lays his eyes upon or something like that, he will fall in love with. It involves taking a spider from a web, putting it in a walnut shell, throwing it in hot oil, and throwing some web in it or some shit. But a bunch of random bullshit. And so he shows up, rings the doorbell, and she's like, better not be those goddamn Jehovah's Witnesses. So she goes out, it's him, of course, and he's got a little toothpick in his mouth because he's salt of the earth, that man. He's Jackie Daytona all up in this bitch. And she tries seducing him like right away. Like, and he's just so oblivious because his brain is on work. This man is constant at professional.
I came here for lawn services, ma'am.
Yeah, he's like, I'm here for lawns. Where's your lawn, ma'am? And she's like, I have a lawn, wink, wink. And he's like, I don't understand. And so he's so she roofies the man's beer.
yeah, he gets magically roofied.
She magically roofies this man, and he starts like, it's funny because when she does that, he starts going on this tirade about like, plants won't fucking live here. This is bullshit. This is basically what he says before he passes out, which made me laugh really hard. And so he passes out on her couch. She says like, good. All I have to do now is he wakes up and he'll fall in love with me. And then the doorbell rings again, and lo and behold, it's Nigel again wearing the ugliest green leather suit I've ever seen in my entire life. Got these two giant red green zippers. She's like, that is hideous. And he's like, I wear it on my days off because I want to look fashionable to my orgies, he said.
But he talks about how much like he hates the children, he hates the kids that he's teaching.
He hates them so much. He wants the black magic, all of them, so often. It's fucking hilarious how much he hates these fucking kids.
Yeah, and like the witch culture in this movie between all the old white people is just hilarious. It's just
it reminds me of one of the teachers from Bob's Burgers. There's this one specific teacher in Bob's Burgers who just hates everything. And he reminds me of Nigel, ironically enough. And in fact, he actually talks about witchcraft at one point, which makes it even funnier. But what happens is that he's like, look, you have something that's utterly powerful. Let me help you figure this shit out. You don't know what you're doing with this. And she's like, I don't give a shit. And so she makes boils appear on his face somehow. There's no real explanation for it other than witchcraft stuff. And he's annoyed by it, but he's like, fuck, and he fucks off. While she was doing this, Hunky McHunkster, the reason I haven't given a name, by the way, is they don't give us his name for an hour and 15 minutes. I timed it. Actually, this might be longer than that.
You do see it on his truck, though. You see, like, Ethan's services or whatever on his truck.
We never get this man's last name, by the way. We never hear his last name. So, but he fucks off. He starts, like, stumbling through Midvale.
He's having a bad acid trip.
Just having a bad time. And then what made me laugh really hard was that he passes by the Popeyes, the advertisement thing that they're doing.
Did somebody say Popeyes? Isn't that where all the cool kids hang out in Midville?
Yeah, all the kids love Popeyes in Midville. And so it's Jimmy, the only man who's in all 5 of these films, the actor for Jimmy Olsen, who has also been in a lot of big stuff as well, like Back to the Future. And he's there with Lucy and her friends. And they're there. And they see this man, because Linda shows up eventually, because she's looking for the Omega Hedron because it started glowing, so she started looking for it. So she ends up in the middle of Midville as well. They see this man having a bad time, and she's like, should we help them? And Jimmy goes, nah, he's like a crackhead. He's probably got a knife. He's gonna stab me to death if I walk up to him. And you're like, Jimmy, what the fuck?
He's like, look, Lucy, I only have so much time to spend here in Midville, and we're not going to spend our time helping crackheads down the street.
He's like, yeah, Perry needs me. I'm not even supposed to be in. I'm fucking 2 states away, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't even know how I got here, type of thing. And so he's there, and so Linda also decides, fuck it, I don't care either, and decides to hang out with them inside of this Popeyes. And as this is happening, she does accidentally almost say that her name is Kara too, because she says, well, when Lucy introduces her, she's, oh, I'm Kara. And he's like, what? And he's like, I mean, I'm Kara Uncerned or something, is what she said. Was her way of shearing suspicion away, which is very funny to me. And so what happens is that there was a box, this little box that they had the Omegahedron that Selena had it in. So she's trying to figure out where this guy went, and she accidentally activates the mirror to make this just views where he is to figure out where he went.
Yeah, it's the classic magic mirror on the wall.
Yeah, it's almost like that scene in No Way Home when he accidentally discovers like the magic portal thing. Like she does that on accident because she doesn't know what she's doing because she's bad at being a witch. And so she realizes that if I get out of the box, which the box is now morphed into this sort of, it's like a small goat thing, and now instead of a tiny box, and she opens it up and it opens the thing. She uses it to activate a like a tractor with a big
like a backhoe
type of thing, and it chases this man down.
Yeah.
This man is high as shit, a drunk as shit, whatever. He's been roofied in the middle of this town, and now he's being chased by farm equipment, and nobody seems to bat an eyelash because Lucy just goes, it's just another runaway.
Yeah, it's like she sees this and she's like, oh, a runaway. Like, how often does that happen in Midville, that construction equipment just starts snatching people up off of, because like he's like scooped up by this backhoe, like going down the street. They see like a leg hanging out,
leg sticking out of it. It's killing me. It was killing me the whole time. And so Linda finally then, Lucy decides to spring into action. She jumps into this before Linda does, by the way. Jumps into this thing, tries to drive it away. It slams into like a gas station and sets fire. It's almost going to hit this gas, as well as a few other things. So Linda finally decides, this looks like a job for Supergirl type of thing. She runs to the bathroom, almost runs into a Popeyes worker, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry. She's like, I get it. She then turns into Supergirl, stops the fire by flying through one of those water towers to get the water on it. She stops this electrical cable thing by zapping the electrical cables off of the tower, which is not how electricity works. So those wires still would be active because they're connected to another one. But I digress. And so that's the way she stops the electrical cables, and she doesn't actually save Lucy because Lucy knocks herself out on it, like somehow she like turns so hard her head hits the machine and she passes out, and she to the point where it's hilarious because she's like hanging on to it because she can't like be fully passed out. She would realistically fly out of this thing.
It's also hilarious that her boyfriend Jimmy does nothing to help her.
Oh, he's taking pictures for the Daily Planet. He's too busy going, I got to make that bread. Popeye's money doesn't grow on trees, is what he's thinking to himself.
I got to be able to afford more chicken and biscuits, baby.
She'd be more excited that I have Popeye's money because she needs that sweet, sweet Popeyes.
Yeah.
Or else she's going to be very upset with me, is basically his thought process. And so she takes the front end off and lands it somewhere. And I guess Lucy just sort of is saved by herself. I don't really remember how Lucy gets saved overall. And what happens is that when she puts the thing down, she opens it up. But instead of meaning the guy as Supergirl, she changes back into Linda, like all of a sudden, and then saves him.
Right. So this is important because it means that Ethan, right, is his name? He falls in love with Linda Lee.
We don't know that yet, is the thing. Because again, the movie doesn't tell us his name out loud for a while. So he wakes up, sees her, goes, I love you. Immediately says I love you, by the way. Because when we saw him before, he was kind of dumb almost, the way he would talk. and then all of a sudden he turns into like Shakespeare.
Oh yeah. He went from being this kind of like dumb, basic bro kind of guy, and now he tries to be like real like poetic and elegant when he speaks.
And this is why this would be creepy if she's not in college in some way, because he's a grown ass man with a business who immediately tries making out with this schoolgirl in a schoolgirl outfit in the middle of town. Selena sees this because she's super pissed because she's like, "Fuck, that was supposed to be my date.
He was supposed to be kissing on me. Yeah, I'm trying to date rape this guy, and then someone else scoops in and takes my victim away from me, right from under me, right out of my clutches."
And she's super pissed, and she somehow doesn't notice that Linda is Supergirl. She doesn't, because somehow the orb only showed her part of everything.
It's the wig. The wig fucking throws people off. That is her Clark Kent glasses.
She transforms back into Linda. It's so like within us. Like if the orb was actually doing the entire visible, she would have seen it. It's just very, very weird. But so she's pissed off about this. Linda's like, I gotta go. I'm not dealing with this right now. And so she runs off. Selena's very pissed about this. And she decides, Lucy sees her make out with this guy. She never actually brings it up, by the way. That's the other thing I know. It might be in the director's cut for all I know, but she never brings up the fact that she saw this grown man kiss this schoolgirl. If that turns out to be the case. But she runs off. She goes back to the dorm. She's so enthralled by the fact that she made out with some guy that she tries to make out with herself in a mirror at one point.
Yeah. Which is the weirdest. Like, Helen Slater, I think, is, like, actually, like, really great performance in this movie, but there is no way to... Okay, how do I play an alien on Earth practicing kissing on a mirror and not make it look stupid as fucking hell?
It was so weird. And then while this is happening, Selena then discovers, she's like, well, maybe I can summon something to kill the wimp, as she calls him. She doesn't know what Linda's name is.
Right. They refer to her as the wimp.
And so she's just like, I'm just going to picture her, and I'm going to be like, shadow, whatever, take form, murder this fucking idiot for me. She then sends Invisibo, as I'm going to call him from now on.
Have you ever seen Forbidden Planet, the old 50s sci-fi movie?
I know it, but I've never seen it.
I mean, it basically has like an invisible monster like this that shows up, and you fight it with electricity, with like blue, like Palpatine lightning electricity.
I bet you that's where they got the idea.
It had to have been the inspiration.
But I'm going to call him Invisibo for now. But that's a Freakazoid reference for anybody who's curious where I got that from. So Invisibo breaks through her wall, and she's like, okay, next time I'll do that outside. She's bad at being a witch. And it goes to chase down Linda. And I have to admit, these are really cool effects of it going through like land and stuff and cars and crashing. Like,
no, if you just show this clip to someone and just show like Supergirl flying around and some like fighting some monster and stuff, like they would be like, oh, that looks like it comes from a good movie.
It's actually really cool, and it actually frustrates me that we don't actually see Invisibo all that much, because he shows up, and this is what stops her from making out with herself in the mirror, is it attacks. So she turns into Supergirl, meets this thing outside, and just says, "You will not harm anybody in there," or anything like that. And Invisibo immediately slaps her or something. I don't really know what he does. He just starts roaring, and stuff starts happening to her. And she decides the best way of defeating this thing is to grab a light pole, charge it with thunder, with lightning.
Yeah, fly into the clouds, get struck by lightning to charge it up,
and then somehow, or as you mentioned, force the lightning out of the pole somehow by going, eh. No real explanation for how she can do this, but again, as you mentioned, Superman could do a bunch of random shit like this all the time back in the day. I get it. I always treat these movies like pre-crisis, because that's what they were. They're very pre-crisis movies.
Yeah, they technically all were, except for Superman 4.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of them are just like, that's how comic book logic worked. There was no logic to them. So if you're looking for logic from this movie, you're in the wrong place. And so what happens? She defeats this thing. You see Invisibo's form for a hot minute. It appears to be the thing from the
Nigel's cigarette
case from earlier, and it just sort of fucks off, I guess, because I don't know if it explodes or something. He just disappears. He disappears. And after she defeats it, she walks back in. The dorm RA is this drunk woman who's so drunk she sees Supergirl and goes, "What are you wearing? You got to frick your shit. What the fuck are you wearing?" She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
Have you seen the 1970s Black Christmas, the original one before they remade it?
Only once.
She's very similar to the character in that movie, but there's like this, the drunk lady who's in charge of the girls' dorm at this college.
She's actually, Lucy mentions it too. She mentions that's one of the reasons they were able to sneak out to a party, because that was the other thing she was doing. That's the reason why that's the reason nobody's there for that sequence, because that's the explanation. Is like, hey, we're all going to a party at our friend Eddie's or something. It's like because the person who in charge is drunk as shit, and we're taking advantage of that. And Linda's like, I don't think that's very nice. She's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go fucking hang out with Jimmy Olsen. Do you see this guy? He's Jimmy Olsen. And so they go. So after this sequence happens, Selena's pissed off that this has happened. She then has to figure out how to get Ethan back to where she is. And so what happens is that at one point she's activating the dodecahedron again. I'm trying to remember the exact... Here's the thing. The movie... Here's the problem I have with the movie more than anything. This is about an hour or so of the movie. Or more of the movie. The entire movie is about two women fighting over one guy.
Yes.
We don't know the name of for quite some time. And so the Omegahedron starts glowing the thing again, because after she goes back inside, Linda realizes that she's probably somehow is at the amusement park. And so Linda goes to the amusement park by following the signal. She gets there. That's when she finally meets Ethan again. And that's when Ethan finally tells her name, by the way. She doesn't know Ethan's name at this point. She's already made out and fantasized about making out with this guy again before ever finding out his name. He's there like, I'm in love with you. He doesn't know her name, by the way, which was even funnier to me. So neither of them know each other's name. So he shows up with these flowers and chocolates and stuff, and they find out each other's names, and they almost make out again until Selena's just like, oh my God, they're here. Fuck these people. And she tries to kill them, or tries to at least kill Linda, using the amusement park thing to make him dizzy.
Yeah, like the merry-go-round.
And so Supergirl, quote-unquote, bites her by just throwing a bunch of wires around her to, like, trap her for a hot second. Something like that. And she's just like, give me the Omegahedron.
Yeah,
she's like, no.
Those metal spikes or whatever that she encircles around her. They have they're fighting with the amusement park. It's the amusement park fight. The bumper cars get involved.
Oh no, that's later, but because I think that happened. No, actually, no, that does happen there, does it? I'm trying to remember when that happens.
Yeah, because it's when. Well, it's before.
Oh wait, it is during that part, because she does because that's right, because she threatens Supergirl by transporting Ethan into the bumper car spot and threatens to kill him with bumper cars. Again, this man is dumb as hell, because all he has to do is stay in one of the bumper cars and he'd be fine. These bumper cars aren't designed to destroy other bumper cars. Just not how it works. And so that's when Supergirl defeats her to then save Ethan. You're right. Sorry. But I don't remember what she tries to do to Supergirl. She doesn't really do anything to Supergirl. She just threatens Ethan for some reason. And so she grabs Ethan in the bumper car and flies away. She just fucks off after throwing.
And then you have to look at this ugly bumper car for a long, because these bumper cars, they're like NFL themed bumper car. They look like very stupid though.
And another one, and they look really, really dumb. They're the type of bumper cars that I wouldn't want to be on.
The bumper cars are like NFL linemen that crash into each other. But this one, and each one is like two different 1984 NFL teams. That's like one team on the front and one on the back.
They're also huge, by the way. They're disgusting looking. Like that's how big these fucking things are.
Like the faces, because like it's just like you see like the face of like a an NFL player with like his helmet and his face, and he's just, I don't know, they're very hideous to look at. But
It's very funny.
His was, I think it was the Rams and the Patriots.
And so she flies away with Ethan. As she's flying away with Ethan, they're trying to have this sort of romantic scene where she's flying away, and she's like, "Oh my God, where am I? I'm flying," or whatever. It's supposed to be that scene, but he's more annoying than anything else. And as that's happening, Selena's like, "Okay, I'm pissed. I need to fucking destroy these people, but I need help. I don't know what I'm doing." And Bianca's like, "You should call Nigel. Nigel seems to know what he's doing. We need Nigel's help." She's like, "Fine, I'll fucking call Nigel." So she calls Nigel. As Nigel's arriving, the Supergirl lands and has this heart-to-heart with Ethan, because he keeps talking about how much he loves Linda and how he really needs to save Linda. And she's like, "For the love of God, Linda's right. I need you to step it." And then so Nigel shows up and he goes like, "Hey, I need your help to defeat Supergirl." And he's like, "Oh, I'll help you." And he finds the walnut with the spider in it. And he randomly he opens it because he knows it's part of a spell. He's like, "Oh, whoops, I accidentally fucked up your thing." My assumption was that was going to break the spell and that he wouldn't give a shit about Linda anymore. Instead, it breaks the spell by making him no longer act like Shakespeare, but he's still in love with Linda. There's no real explanation for that other than, "Hey, I made out with a squirrel, now I'm in love with them, I guess." And then he keeps going, "But I got to go save Linda. I'm going to go save Linda." And Supergirl keeps trying to tell her Linda's okay, and he keeps trying to mansplain to her that Linda's not okay. over and over again.
I love that when they're arguing though, and he tries to walk away from her, and then she just like flies overhead and flies over him, and then like he's like questioning that, and he's like, "You just flew over my head. True or false?"
"You're one of them super people."
Yeah,
what he's saying. But again, he keeps trying to mansplain the Supergirl that Linda's in trouble, even though Supergirl keeps telling him Linda is okay. I need you to fucking quit it. And this goes on for like a good 10 minutes. And then she makes out with him, and he goes, "Wait, you're Linda." And it's just like, fine, whatever, sure, I guess. And then they keep making out, and then what happens is that Nigel pulls out this, what looks to be like I could only describe it as a voodoo wand.
Yeah,
the only way I can
which
describe it.
is also just kind of
very
I don't know. It's also, you get into kind of like it's very culturally appropriation-y, kind of just like weird, awkward things of like.
Well, not only that, it's what he describes it as. He's like, "It's the most evil thing you could ever have." Like, it's like, what?
The Barunde wand is what he calls it.
Yeah, he's like, "It's the most evil thing in existence," or whatever. And he's like, "And you can use it to evil shit. So we're gonna power it up using the Megahedron." They use it to transport Ethan and chain him up in their sex dungeon in their amusement park, apparently.
But the way that it looks when they like hold the two MacGuffins up to the camera, and he's like shaking the wand, and she's spinning the round orb, the Omegahedron, and it's the stupidest looking thing ever. But the actors play it so fucking serious.
You're watching two old people fucking do black magic, and it's hilarious. And so what happens is they do that, and so Linda's like, "I need to go save Ethan, this man I don't know very well." And so she flies over to find where he is at, and Selena's now also betrayed Nigel. She's taken the wand from him, and like has chained him up and made his nice suit look like tatters all of a sudden. Like, there's no real other thing that she does other than that. And then she makes an entire mountain appear in the middle of Midvale using the power of this wand and the Omegahedron. And so Supergirl doesn't have to look very hard to find out where she is. So she lands in this castle. I can only describe it as that Supergirl gets cucked.
Yeah.
Because he has now put another magical spell on Ethan to make him love her now.
It's like the worst way to cuck a Kryptonian, because like you make them like, "Look, I'm going to take your lover away, they're mine, and I'm gonna Phantom Zone you like Zod."
Yeah, she somehow knows what the Phantom Zone is, by the way. But she throws her she walks up to where they are and basically runs into what I can only describe as a mine box originally, and then it turns out it's a Phantom Zone spot, and she's sent to the Phantom Zone, and she's like, "No, Ethan, you don't make out with that old lady," and then she disappears. into the Phantom Zone. Supergirl ends up in the Phantom Zone. This is something I thought about the entire time I was watching. Do you remember the Phantom Zone from Smallville?
Not super well, but now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it was like this. It was like dark and
this Phantom Zone and the Smallville Phantom Zone are very similar in the fact that they're these like kind of deserty, like windy areas where it's just like darkness and like dirt.
I think the Phantom Zone looks good, like the matte painting, and then like when she's like stuck in the quicksand or whatever.
Yeah, it's a really cool visual for the Phantom Zone, which I think I'm legitimately thinking Smallville took it from this.
Very because they borrowed a lot from the Donner movies, so.
Yeah, because there's no. As far as I know, this is one of the first visualizations in live action of what the Phantom Zone looks like.
I think it would be the actual first, and it's good. It's honestly
worked. And I think I generally think Smallville took it from this.
But the funny thing about it is when she finds Zoltar and he talks about being exiled in the Phantom Zone, and he has like the weird beverage where he keeps offering her a squirt. Yeah. And that's just awkward. But when he says, "Oh, there's all of these criminals and savages that live here, and they're right over this hill right here, but we don't have the budget to show them, but they're there, believe me."
They're all off screen, and Jack Store's an asshole. He keeps borrowing my DVDs and not returning them. What a dick! Like it's just hilarious that they're just like. By the way, like Zoltar is, and the way Zoltar talks about it, he's like, "I've been here for thousands of years." I'm like, dude, it's been like 3 days. Like, what are you talking about? And so she's like, he's all given up. He's drunk off his ass on squirt. And she's like desperately trying to be like, we need to figure out a way out of here. While this is happening, Selina has now taken over Midvale by somehow putting spells on the cops to cause cops to act like modern day cops.
I just thought that it was like her. She called the people that were at her big party her army of the night. So I just figured like,
funny.
She's expanded her coven, but now like they're all motorcycle cops.
Yeah, well, it is explained that she's taken over the cops at one point, like using the magic. But
there's like anti-Selena protest in the streets.
There are anti-Selena protesters that are treating her as if they're treating her like an elected official that they want gone.
Yeah, it's like they're having a no Queen's Day protest, basically.
It's fucking hilarious that they think this is going to work. And Jimmy's there too for some reason.
To take pictures.
Well, he's there purely for boyfriend support. And so Lucy's just like, yeah, you made my roommate disappear. They're like, who? It's like, you remember the Linda Lee, that lady that was with me or whatever. And they're like, oh, you're talking about the Wimp, because apparently they still don't know the Wimp and Supergirl are the same person.
I'm telling you, that fucking wig, it throws them off.
And she's just like, well, you're friends with her, so you're all under arrest like immediately. So she tells the cops to arrest them, and she's like, I need them as insurance, is what she says. And I'm assuming, my assumption was that she realized since she disappeared and Supergirl disappeared around the same time, she probably finally realized that is what happened.
Yeah, that was when the light bulb went off.
And so they're arrested. Jimmy's all pissed. He's like, I have freedom of the press, and they just arrest them all.
I like that line, yeah.
And so they then it then cuts back to Supergirl trying to figure out a way out of this. Zoltar's like, I know a way, but it's gonna get you can probably die. I could do it, but you're probably gonna die because you're a woman or something. Like that's basically what Zoltar almost sounds like he's saying. But then she convinces him. They go off. It turns out there's a secret exit to the Phantom Zone right next to what I could only call a demon tornado or something, like a vortex, like a demon-y vortex. And they try climbing out of this. It cuts to Selina. She's the Megahedron has now warned her that they're escaping the Phantom Zone, which is confusing me. She actually outright says the Phantom Zone, meaning that black magic books apparently tell her what the Phantom Zone is.
Yeah.
Because she starts going through these books trying to find a way of stopping them. That she's like, okay, how to make a man get divorced or how to get people divorced. She starts finding like these dumb spells, because that's like the joke, is that her books have dumb stuff in it too. And then she's like, oh, here it is, the flames of something or whatever, the fireballs of something. And so she shoots these fireballs as they're trying to climb out of this thing. And Zoltar sacrifices himself for Kara by saying, and is like, I'm always with you. Like, and then it's just like, falls
he
in.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's himself. This is that, like, in the wake of Star Wars, like, so many movies in the 1980s ape those plot beats of Star Wars, and he straight up does the mentor who dies, and then he's like the voice who speaks to her later in the end.
Yeah. And so she gets the courage to leave, and so she does, and she breaks out of the mirror because apparently the Phantom Zone is in the mirror, in her palace or whatever. She shows up while this is all happening. There's some fun sequences I forgot to mention of Ethan saying how much he loves her and her like saying you don't love me or whatever, that sort of thing. It's funny. By the way, she didn't enact her world domination plan until she fucked the guy. That's
those were her priorities. That was Selena's priorities.
She needed this guy. She needed this man. She spends the majority of the time trying to find this man. She doesn't take over the world till the last 30-20 minutes of this film, by the way. She then Supergirl then confronts her, who then she's like, "Well, I have your friends trapped." And she makes these spikes appear under them. She freeze breaths spikes immediately and breaks them. And for some reason, Selena lets them go.
Oh,
question mark?
From the dangling cages. Is it Nigel who points out, like, oh, this is so trite, the dangling cages.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention during the protest thing where they're doing the parade of her driving around, Nigel's chained to the back of her car.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that part because that part's really funny to me. But yeah, she lets them go, I guess, like because she originally does it to try to like threaten them, but instead it just opens the cages and they run off. And then she does some magic stuff to Supergirl. My girlfriend couldn't stop screaming at the fact like you can fly because she's making the tiles shake a bunch and like and do these things. And my girlfriend's just like fly up. And she doesn't, of course. And but she's like I'm awesome or whatever. And then eventually she flies up. And then Selena. Oh, I forgot. I remember now what Selena does threaten Supergirl originally in the other thing. She makes like these sort of shadow hers. But that's,
yeah.
I forgot about that. I was trying to remember what she did.
It gets weird. Yeah, the magic gets weird here.
But in this sequence, she summons Invisible again, but this time is like a physical thing. It's the shadow of the demon thing. And he pops up and it's kind of cool looking puppet. They grab Supergirl and the visuals don't do what it's supposed to be happening, which is he's supposed to be like kind of wringing her, like as if you had like if you have something like you're sort of wringing it like this.
Yeah,
but it doesn't look like that because all they're doing is stretching her image, and it just looks really weird.
Yeah, they do like this weird kind of parallax effect, and it honestly, like the puppet, if they hadn't gone that far with like having it kind of like stretch her. If they just would have had, like, it grab her or something, it would have looked fucking great. Like, that puppet that they used as the demon looks good. It would have been scary as hell. But yeah,
what they should have done was, like, in the Dragon Ball Z when Vegeta's holding Goku and just squeezes. They should have just done that. Like, that would have been a much more effective, like, I'm going to crush you type thing.
They got too ambitious. They tried to get too carried away with the cool magical torture. Let's have a demon, like, stretch her body and twist, and just like, yeah, you're not gonna be able to visualize that, fool.
Yeah, it was very weird. And so she's fighting this thing, and then eventually she's like, well, I don't know if I have the power to defeat this thing. She's like, I can't. She's like crying to herself essentially. Until a man decides to tell her, you can do it, because because Zoltar's Obi-Wan voice.
Kenobi. Yeah, that's like turn your targeting computer off and trust in the Force, Luke.
Again, this movie is not very woman friendly. It's hilarious how much this movie just despises women. And so she defeats. I'm trying to remember how she defeats him. She just like does like a backflip or something, right? And then that's right. She does like this whirlwind around her, and it sucks her and Bianca, who really just her only crime was being annoying as shit, into this vortex. And then they're all three of them, including this demon thing, I'm assuming are either sent to the Phantom Zone or another dimension, something like that. And everything disappears. The Omegahedron is fine. Jimmy and Lucy make out. The mountain disappears, and Lucy's like, "Oh my god, that was amazing! Everything went amazingly." And so she's like, "Okay, I have the Omegahedron now. I have to go. My planet needs me. She has the fucking Poochie ending. And they're just like, well, we never saw you, Supergirl. We've never heard of a Supergirl. They do this weird thing where they just pretend she doesn't exist because they don't want to. They just want to. They want to keep her so secret that nobody even knows that she was there. And she takes the Omegahedron. They're like, we'll explain what happened to Linda. And Ethan's just like, well, I'm sorry to see you go. He calls her kiddo, which is also creepy, which is why, again, it only works if they're college age, not schoolgirls, because again, he has to be a grown-ass man. She then flies back to Argo City, back into inner space, and it ends with her like flying towards the back to Argo, and then it shows that Argo like eventually it starts lighting back up again to show that she gave them the power source, and that's how it ends. That's the ending of this god awful movie. But holy shit, this movie was 90% two women fighting over a guy that neither of them knew their name, because I don't think Selena knew what his name was. The whole thing was ridiculous. Oh my goodness! And again, the director's cut's longer. I looked up what the director's cut was.
I am very curious about that. I need to see the director's cut at some point.
Apparently, the director's cut has a larger section of the Argo City. It's got more conversations between Nigel and Selena discussing spells and powers to show that they've been together for a while, but that nothing they've been doing has been working, which makes sense why the Megahedron is such like an exciting thing for them. There's a scene where Bianca is when she's first introduced. There's a few more lines about experimenting with the Megahedron. There is a longer scene. It says a longer party scene for the Minion scene, which is that part with all the dancing. Selena tells Nigel that all the people who mocked her and pitied her will pay her for what they did now that she has power. There's more dialogue between Bianca and Selena, with Bianca trying to tell her to slow down, but she's like, I'm not, but like to try to be like, okay, maybe we're overdoing it type of thing. More dialogue between Linda and Lucy about why Linda's an orphan, apparently. Another bullying scene where the bullies try to insult Linda, but Lucy stands up for her. So something about Lucy tells Myra that they're getting for Linda. More discussions about the tractor when it's from Selena and Bianca. More dialogue about the Burundi wand right before they grab Ethan to the fortress. More footage of the Phantom Zone. They discuss how evil Selena is. Zaltra having more self-pity, apparently. Here's another one. A new scene with Jimmy and Lucy in Selena's cages, in which they admit they're both in love with each other. So that explains why they kiss at the end.
Okay.
More footage of Supergirl getting thrown, having more obstacles thrown at her in the final showdown, which would be nice. That is a shame that was cut out. There's another scene that might be in other versions where it says he takes the coffer of shadows and keeps it as a memento, where Nigel does. There's also a scene where Nigel runs into a lady at Selena as well. And there's some different dialogue to Ethan saying goodbye to Supergirl. But for the most part, the movie's kind of the same as the international cut. And there's some cut versions that don't exist in other things, like some stuff that you can't find at all, apparently. I'm trying to find. There was one that I saw that mentioned there's like a cut that never showed up. That isn't in any version, but it's supposed to be like a specific. There's supposed to be a scene of somebody dying during the tractor sequence that they cut out entirely, but that's not in any of the cuts, apparently.
That's probably for the best.
Yeah, I think the idea was that they wanted. Oh, apparently during the Midvale sequence, one of the women was actually killed by Selena originally as well. Oh, she turns her into... You remember that lady who stands in front of the car? Apparently she got turned into an ice statue originally. So that's one version. That might not be on any of the cuts, but that is something that are not... Oh, there's also... Apparently these are scenes that are not in the director's cut. Supergirl cutting her hair with heat vision. Lucy and Linda talking about guys. Linda fitting in. Lucy borrowing a shirt that belongs to Linda. Nigel asking Linda if they have any plans for the 3-day weekends, which is the part where he said he had 3 days off. And Supergirl telling Selena she'll only bow to truth and justice during the showdown at Selena's house is what it says. So there's a lot of stuff that got cut out. Some of it sounds more interesting. Some of it is mentioned. That stuff does make some of the story make more sense, especially the part about Nigel and Selena talking about the fact that none of their schemes involving magic have done anything so far. So it makes sense why they would be so excited about the Omega Hedron when it appears.
You know, I would like to see more of those two villains. I think if Bendis got the power to make a Nuclear Man an actual character in the mainstream DC universe, then why not Selena and Nigel actually be witches in the DC universe?
I want Nigel to just keep appearing in comics as people's teachers and just being like, I hate these fucking kids, and just doing black magic on the side just all the time. It'd be hilarious. Well, yeah, what a fucking wild movie. I showed this movie to my girlfriend, and she threatened to leave me like 4 times as we watched it. She hated this fucking movie. Because I wanted to get a woman's perspective on this film, and what I got was that this movie was made by men and only men, and nobody understood what a woman was.
I would be curious to hear like what would be a better way to handle like the character Selena and like because I guess like the people making the movie, they're like, well, we don't want to have like a man villain to just like beat up the girl, so we're gonna put Supergirl against an evil woman, and they're trying to think what would be someone who's like very different from like Lex who rivals Superman. So they were thinking like, okay, what if we did like a magical lady? I guess is what they came up with.
Yeah, the easiest thing you could do to fix this movie, don't make them so obsessed with Ethan. Just have Ethan as like kind of a consolation prize, but still be like keeping their eye on the prize. They don't think about world domination for like the majority of the film until after they get Ethan.
Selena's priorities. It was like number 1, dick. Number 2, world domination.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I do love the discussion about like, she's like, well, I'm going to take over the rest of the country in like a week by like just taking over all the armies, which is the only time they explain the cops thing. And you're just like, this is weird. And like I said, Bianca gets fucked for no reason.
Yeah.
Bianca's like, I want to fuck that guy, and she's like, no, I'm going to fuck that guy.
But she's not a annoying villain side. She's what's the little parrot in Aladdin who follows Jafar? Iago.
Iago, yeah.
Yeah, that's Bianca.
That's hilarious. And she tries to run at one point, and she's like, no, you're staying here. She's like, okay, I'm staying here. And then she gets fucked for it. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. The movie frustrates me because of the fact that I see the vision for what they're trying to do. They're trying to not just make it, hey, Last Son of Krypton type of story. It's a different type of, fish out of water. She's not just from, Krypton. She's from a different version, and she has a different mission that she forgets about immediately once she starts going to school, and hanging out with rabbits and taking naps outside. And nobody keeps their eye on the prize of this entire movie. Not a single person. Not even Zoltar. Zoltar just gets fucking wasted in the Phantom Zone.
Everybody's motivation is, I'm going to say the dialogue to move the plot forward, basically.
The person I believe the most was Nigel the entire movie. I believe that man hated every single one of his students.
But there's a lot of good acting in this movie. I think there's a lot of the performances are good. He was a good bad guy. He could have killed it. He could have been like the bad guy in a ton of 80s things. Helen Slater, good Supergirl. Creepy to see the CGI resurrected Christopher Reeve in the Ezra Miller Flash movie, but they show in that the Superman and Supergirl, the cousins do meet eventually.
Yeah, they both hang out eventually. It took a long time, but they do eventually hang out. And yeah, again, there's so many, and the movie just sort of, the movie doesn't even what surprised me is the most about this movie, and I don't have an issue with this, but it's just because it surprises me, is it doesn't sequel bait you at all. There's no moment where they're like, Supergirl looks like she might come back. She leaves to Argo City, and it seems like she's just going to be there forever now. Like it just seems to be cool with that. I'm assuming they were going to see what was going to happen, see if it did well, and then go from there. And this movie did not do well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, let's see what it was. Its critical reviews were bad. It took the #1 slot during its weekend, but was considered a bomb because it only made $14 million against a budget of 35.
Yeah, and also like take into account the other movies in theaters the year this came out. Actually, 1984, I consider it the best year for movies ever. But just
Ghostbusters came out the same year. Like,
Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills
that.
Cop, The Karate Kid, Police Academy, Footloose, like Gremlins. So many of the great classic movies that people love came out of 1984.
Yeah, Jerry Goldsmith did the music to Gremlins and Supergirl at the same time.
Well, you tell which one he was trying harder on, but I don't know. I think the music when Ethan wakes up all roofied and is very like disoriented, like that fucking music fucking disorients me when I watch this shit. So,
well, that's the thing is there's some good songs choices in this movie, but it's just the problem is the theme is so lifeless. Like it tries to be this sort of like bombastic thing, but it repeats itself. It's like one section that's just repeated over and over again. Because the Superman theme it repeats it sometimes, but it's not the same. It's not da 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 over and over again. It's like a bunch of like other sections that go up and down, that sort of thing. With Supergirl, it's the exact same like overture part over and over and over again, to the point where my girlfriend threatened to murder me if she heard it again, because it was playing over the credits, and she's just like, "Swear to God, if I hear this one fucking part again, I'm gonna murder everyone in this house." I was like, "Okay, fair," and I turned it off.
It was probably a wise call, but
yeah, oh my God, I want to see the director's cut of this. I generally do, because I want to see exactly if the director's cut makes it make slightly more sense. And apparently it does, but I don't know if I want to spend another 2 hours of my life doing that just for the sake of it. You know what I mean? Just for the completionistness of it.
Yeah. I think this would be a fun movie to do like a commentary on, because it would constantly give you something to talk about as you sit down and watch it. I think the Golden Girls Witch Coven. We're at that part of the movie.
Yeah, I think it is the most Mystery Science Theater movie you could do of the Superman movies.
Yes.
Superman 3 is the second one, as well as Superman 4. Actually, no, maybe Superman 4 before Superman 3, because Superman 3 nothing happens in. That's the problem with Superman 3. But Superman 4 and Supergirl are movies that if you just got a bunch of friends, you got a bunch of them got drunk or something, and they just riffed on this thing, you would have a great fucking time.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh my God, Supergirl is so much worse than I ever remembered. I'm at this juncture, I'm just hoping that when we watch Supergirl, that it's not even close to this bad. Like I don't think you can top how bad this is if you tried.
No,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
like the new movie would have to offend me in some major way for it to like I would need like Millie Alcock to like look at the camera and say vote for Trump for a third term or something like that to make me like that movie less than well, I do enjoy this movie, but like for me to think that the new one is worse than this one, it would have to do something extreme like that.
Well, they're going to bring back Ethan. He's going to be Space Ethan is what they're going to do.
Yeah, that's maybe Krim of the Yellow Hills and Kara Zor-El will fight for Ethan.
Yellow Hills,
Ethan
and then Yellow Hills.
And then Momoa is going to show up and be like, you know what, Ethan is mine. And that's how Lobo factors into the story.
Yeah, the movie ends with Lobo and Ethan making out. I'd be cool with that ending, though.
Well, DC Studios is here for the challenge of
get off the DC Studios. Bring back Nigel and Ethan. You heard it here first. The audience demands Nigel.
Do you think that Helen Slater might have a cameo or something in the new movie? Because she has shown up in...
So.
Like, they used her in Smallville. They used her in Supergirl.
Yeah, she's a big part of Supergirl.
Yeah.
And because she doesn't... she doesn't shy away from this movie. That's the thing I like about Helen Slater. She doesn't look at Supergirl as like a red mark on her career. She's very proud of Supergirl, and the fact that it is the first big live action rendition of this character.
Yeah.
To the point where people people do talk about this movie fondly. I don't know why, but they do. They do talk about this movie
because a
fondly.
lot of us, we watched it when we were little kids, and we thought Helen Slater was cute, and that's all we needed.
It's all ridiculous, but it's insane to me that the only time we ever saw these two people meet was as you mentioned earlier, was a bad CGI scene in fucking Flash.
Yeah, in an even worse DC movie.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the worst use of Supergirl ever. That movie.
You think this is the worst movie adjacent to Superman? It's like, man, we have multiple Supermans in another movie that's somehow. They CGI Henry Cavill, George Reeves, and Christopher Reeve all into that movie. Like, none of them actually appear, but they're...
Nicolas Cage as well, yeah.
Oh yeah, Nicolas Cage. Just like every Superman in that movie is a special effect.
The funniest part is Nicolas Cage confirmed that he actually filmed the scene. Like, he actually physically was on a set. And they said they were going to CGI the rest of his, I think some of his outfit and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said that they want their direction. This was his words. Their direction was that you need to look as if you're seeing the end of worlds. Was the idea, because that's what's supposed to be happening in that scene, is that like stuff is like colliding and exploding or whatever, and like worlds or timelines are like being demolished by their fight, type of thing. He's like, yeah, that was the only direction I got, so I had to somehow put all of that in one stare, and none of it was on screen because they just CGI'd me anyways. Like he was just like, none of it fucking mattered.
That's the thing. Like Nicolas Cage and Henry Cavill are alive, and like you still, I guess even like they shot stuff with Nicolas Cage, and they still are just like, we're just gonna all CGI it. But
I think it's because they realized they're like, we don't know what to do with this, so they ended up deciding to do like a full reference to a scene that never got filmed, which is the giant spider scene, the infamous giant spider scene. And so they just decided they ended up filming that scene at last, so John Peters could finally die in peace. What a fucking movie that is! What a trip that is! If you guys have never watched the documentary on Superman Lives, I highly recommend it because it is wild.
Yeah, we should cover that documentary. I don't know. Is that an exciting thing to do, to like talk about talk about people talking about stuff? We
could maybe do that, but because the guy who made that documentary has since passed, and
yeah,
so rest in peace for that guy. But
yeah, I'm trying to think of his name, but yeah,
I used to know about that. It was a big deal at the time. But he made this wonderful Superman. It's called Whatever Happened to Superman Lives, or something like that.
I think it's called The Death of Superman Lives.
Oh yes, The Death of Superman Lives, I think is the name of it.
Yeah, great title.
And it's incredible. The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened is the full title of it. That thing is fascinating to watch because you see what they were going to do, and you find yourself morbidly curious to watch that movie. You know that movie doesn't exist, but you find yourself going, but what if it did? Like I kind of want to live in a world where that movie existed, or at least got a comic book adaptation. You know what I mean? Because I would love to see that insane shit.
Yeah, I kind of want to go. I have seen the documentary, but I kind of want to go rewatch it now. It has been a while, but
it's really cool. But that's this Supergirl movie, 1984. As we mentioned, 1984 was a huge year for movies. Unfortunately, this was a movie that didn't work. Its budget was a lot higher than Superman 4 was, and it did, I think, even worse than Superman 4 did. So. The unfortunate thing, and apparently the movie takes place right after Superman 3 is what the timeline is supposed to be. But
I guess that makes sense. But so our last live action Supergirl on the big screen, it was the first and last for a long time, I guess, until that Flash movie, which was arguably the first DC theatrical release that was worse than this.
Supergirl has luckily had a better time on television since this movie happened, but She's not so much online, not so much in film, unfortunately.
So
Although I still like the actress who plays Supergirl in Flash quite a bit.
Yeah, no, she was great. Yeah, she definitely was not any of the problems with that movie. It had several, including some of the actors, but not her. But that being said, I think the next couple of weeks we're going to try to talk about some other Supergirl appearances from the world of TV. She was in several episodes of Superman the Animated Series. Also appears in Smallville, and then eventually had her own TV series.
Yeah, so she's in the DCAU, Smallville. That she also was in DC Superhero Girls as well. Was another thing she did. We don't have to really talk about that, as well as My Adventures with Superman, of course.
Which I want to bring up. You and I are both super excited for season 3. Has been confirmed for June 13th. I think it's actually like Friday, June 12th. I think it drops like Friday night at midnight.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it shows up on Max the next day, so a lot of people do on that.
Yeah.
There was a new image of Superboy that showed up in it recently.
Yeah.
From I think Entertainment or something. So Entertainment Weekly.
Yeah,
I think.
Connor Kent, Superboy.
I'm very curious to see what the plan is for everybody, because we know that the season seems to be related to the reign of the Supermen, because we've seen the poster for the season 3 is Hank Henshaw as a cyborg Superman with like a Lex version of the S.
They established Hank Henshaw has shown up in the show.
Yes, he's a very big character in season 2. At first he seems like a charming, almost Hal Jordan-like guy, and then eventually you find out he's a space racist. Is the best way of putting it. He doesn't like the fact that Superman's an alien. He's like, only for humans is what the tagline is Earth is for humans, I think is what the line is. And he, as far as from what we can tell, I'm assuming he just got super fucked up during the Brainiac's attack, because he gets shot down during Brainiac's assaults on the planet. So I'm guessing he got so fucked up the only way to survive was to turn him into a cyborg. Yeah,
well, we should revisit those, the first 2 seasons of My Adventures with Superman. I'm due for a rewatch of those before season 3, so if that's something you'd want to talk about on the show, we could also cover that.
Yeah, we can look into that whenever we get a chance. And yeah, because I want to make sure everything's very Supergirl-like until the movie happens, and then after that, we're free game for a bit.
Yeah, so we'll probably talk, I think, Superman the Animated Series next time.
Yeah, it's a 2-parter, so we're going to talk about both parts, and then we can, we'll talk about some of that stuff. Is there anything else that we should watch on top of that, in case, for the audience?
I think just the, I don't know, there's that story where, like, she's on the farm, and, has to deal with like that cult. It was like a very Supergirl centric story.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one's also. We can also mention that one as well, because there's very specific Supergirl centric episodes of that, and there's one specific one for Justice League Unlimited involving the. Legion.
They also do. There's like that team up episode with Batgirl and Supergirl.
Oh yeah, I know which one. Yeah, They made a toy figure set for that, because it comes with Livewire.
Yeah, Livewire's in it too. But yeah, I don't know. We'll think about that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll figure out which ones specifically. It most likely will be DC animated DCAU ones specifically.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. We'll mention which ones we're going to be watching whenever we bring that up. But just they're going to be very Supergirl specific ones. So most likely will be that the team up one. And maybe some of the Justice League Unlimited ones when she's finally wearing her actual, like, closer to current suit, where she's wearing the blue instead of the white that she wore in the 2000s, because she wasn't Kara though at that point back then. She was Linda. Was it Linda? I don't remember what her name was anymore. I think it's just Linda. Because she wasn't a Kryptonian, she was a woman infused with the Matrix. Supergirl, who was then a Supergirl. She's the Supergirl during our Worlds at War and all that stuff. She was Yeah, because Kara Supergirl didn't show up again for a long time. So crazy times. Crazy times.
But yeah, we'll have more Supergirl to discuss next time, and then I am excited to see some DC heroes on the big screen again with the Supergirl movie coming in just a few weeks. So big things to look forward to. But until next time, as always, keep it super, y'all.